Welcome to the Travel Coach Network podcast. It is I, Sahari Rose Devore, the founder of the Travel Coach Network and the creator and instructor of the Travel Coach Certification Program. For so long, travel careers meant that you had to choose your niche. Niche is a term used to simplify what you do as a travel expert and what you specialize in. How travel experts were used to choosing their niche is based on usually the client's age or income level, the category of travel such as luxury or family, or maybe cruises or specific destination, or maybe by a brand like Disney or sandals. Or travel experts have chosen what they were told was lucrative or possible or desirable and could easily make sales. But can we really group a demographic, a brand, or a destination to one or two types of clientele? Well, obviously we could before, but not anymore. Today's traveler comes in all genders, ages, stages of life, personal goals, work life, lifestyle needs, objections, dreams. So why is the travel industry still using the traditional way of choosing a niche and thinking it applies to how, why, and who travels in the post-pandemic world? The answer is because it's an industry that tends to do what was proven to work in the past. But things have been shaken up. The travel industry has been flipped upside down, given a clean slate, and actually shined a light on the value that travel has on our mental well-being, our overall well-being, and our personal and work lives, right? How could they think that this approach, though, strategy are going to help travel professionals stand out in this new age? It won't. There has been a lack of depth in the travel industry with the experiences that are provided. I've had countless conversations with travel professionals on why they provide trips or help people with trips and what do they do. And I hear things like, well, I help take the stress of travel planning off of the client's back. I create memorable experiences for them. I customize trips for them. I tailor experiences for them. I help them have trips of a lifetime and more. Those are pretty surface level answers. And when everyone can answer something in very similar ways, that no longer has meaning. What does a memorable experience really mean? What does a customized trip really mean? Is taking the stress off of someone's planning process really that effective? Because I'm pretty sure that I've read studies out there that talk about how the planning process and being involved in it can actually help. It gets your endorphins going. It boosts your happiness hormone. So it can extend the longevity of your trip entirely, because it's that anticipation phase. And it's a key part to going on a trip in the first place, right? If you look at a crowd of travelers and you ask them questions like, who likes going off the beaten path? Who enjoys solo traveling? Who likes to go for longer than a month and maybe stick to a tighter budget so you can travel further and more often and longer? Who likes fancier travel journeys? Who seeks a spiritual journey? Who uses travel to heal, to grow, to learn, to transform? I guarantee if you look at who raises their hands on all of those questions, those people are not going to look the same. They're not going to be in the same age range. They're not going to be the same gender. They're not going to be the same demographics. They're not going to have the same income levels. None of that, right? Because every traveler looks for something different. So you can't categorize that everyone who wants to backpack solo to Europe is going to be a young girl right out of university, right? Like human beings all have different unique desires. So we can no longer look at finding a niche and assuming that your clientele is going to be drawn to that specific, experience that you're trying to provide, right? And I say this, the reason that I was inspired to talk about this was because last year I attended an ASTA event, American Society of Travel Advisors it is now. And it was I sat in one of the sessions and it was about finding your niche. And this was like right coming out of the pandemic. It was the first event that I went to we still wore masks, but it was the first one that I attended after or as we were coming out of the pandemic. So this was very current. And I was expecting to hear really innovative answers by the panel of travel experts up there who were from big companies, had their own companies, very successful. I was expecting to hear something different when it comes to now that the world has changed, now that travel has changed, this is how we should be finding our niches, quote unquote, or how do we stand out as a travel expert, or how do we get travelers back and grow our business. But I couldn't believe the lack of depth that they had in the topic. They still had this old school mentality that still exists, and the absence of ideas like transforming through travel. I didn't hear anything about wellness travel. I didn't hear about meaningful experiences. I didn't hear anything about mental well-being. I didn't hear anything about personal storytelling. I didn't hear about travel experts using their own passion and stories and where their love of travel comes from to help attract clients. I didn't hear about using personal experiences and purposeful travel to attract clients. None of that stuff. I heard the same exact talk about demographics and using brands and using everything that was done before. I've never been a huge fan of the term niche though either, because when you think of a niche, you have to be hyper focused on one type of person or one type of experience or one type of area of expertise. And instead, I like to say your areas of focus or your area of focus, because you can serve a variety of types of people with a similar outcome or desirable experience, right? So now I'm going to share some tips to help you find your area or areas of expertise or focus for your travel business. I want you to think about, where does your love of travel come from? Why are you doing what you do in the travel industry today? And why is it travel industry? What about travel are you so in love with? Who is it that can best relate to your story? That's your ideal clients. Who are these people? Who can hear your story, your travel journeys, and say, I want to have an experience or a lifestyle or a transformation or something, a feeling like you have achieved. It's not about learning about a destination and learning about a brand and then regurgitating the information that you see and hoping that a client sticks and it sells. No, travel is about personality. It's about passion. It's about personal experiences. So use your own. So think about who can best relate to your story, your outcome, your experience, your transformation that you had that you can help. How has travel transformed you or impacted you in your life? Talk about this in your marketing. What kind of difference do you want to make in the industry and why? What are your areas of interest, skills, expertise, knowledge? Where does that come from? What are they? Because maybe your ideal clients are looking for those same skills, or they can share those same skills with you. Maybe it is travel hacking and that's your area of expertise, and you want to teach people how to find and use the best credit cards and accrue points. Maybe it's traveling on a budget and people want to know that how can they work with you so they can learn how to save money in the long run when it comes to travel. There's so many different things. We all know and love something so differently about travel. What problems, voids, shortages have you experienced in the industry that you can either improve or help with? I challenge you to think outside of the box when it comes to taking your travel business to new levels, to standing out in the travel industry by being you and implementing what your ideal clients want and how you can best serve them. And we're ready to do that and help you in the Travel Coach Certification Program. So be sure to follow us on Instagram at the Travel Coach Network, or learn more at thetravelcoachnetwork.com and come give us a hello. We look forward to having you in our open Travel Coach Network global community on Facebook, and hopefully having you on our podcast one day. You can find out more about joining our free Travel Coach Network global community on Facebook in the show notes and every episode there. You can also download your own free beginner's guide to travel coaching. That's also in the show notes too. If you know anyone who might be interested in travel coaching, be sure to share our podcast with them because we truly appreciate it. And at the end of every episode, I will be sharing one fun fact about me, and I hope that you come into the Travel Coach Network global community on Facebook. It is open for anyone to join, and come tell me whether you can relate to this fun fact or you have a similar fun fact about yourself. So today's fun fact is I'm actually very scared of flying. And I know that sounds very odd coming from someone who's traveled over 84 countries, and obviously I've had to fly on hundreds and hundreds of planes before, but I'm terrified of heights. I can't even look at a photograph or a video of like someone at the edge of a cliff or something really high up without my toes and my fingertips tingling. It just gives me the creeps. Like I don't like flying. So it's an odd fact about a world traveler, right? So come join us in the Facebook community and let me know if you can relate to that or you have another fear or something else that maybe is contradictory to your travel, your love of travel. So until next time, my fellow wanderers, bye for now.